A man's sharp voice cut through the stillness of the mansion corridor. "What are you doing here in the dark?" he demanded. In the glow of a single flickering bulb, a young cleaner froze. Books surrounded him on the polished marble floor. His hands trembled, yet his eyes burned with determination. He wasn't stealing. He was studying. And in that moment, the world held its breath, because what would happen next would change both their lives forever. The mansion hallways were silent, except for the faint rustle of paper. It was well past midnight when the millionaire returned unexpectedly from his evening gala. The lights of the estate glowed in every corner, except one. At the far end of the corridor, a faint flicker betrayed a shadow crouched low. Anger surged through him as suspicion filled his mind. He stormed toward the figure, ready to catch a thief. His voice cracked the stillness like thunder. "What are you doing here in the dark?" The young cleaner jolted, a book slipping from his hands. It landed open on the marble floor, not money, not jewels, just worn pages of study notes. His uniform was wrinkled from long hours of labor. His shoes, scuffed and torn, spoke of poverty. But his eyes told a different story. They were eyes that held the fire of someone who refused to give up. The millionaire froze, his accusation caught in his throat. The boy whispered softly, almost to himself, "I'm just trying to learn. It's the only time I have." By daylight, this cleaner blended into the background. He polished silver, scrubbed floors, and carried trays through rooms filled with laughter he could never join. His skin carried the marks of labor, his hands roughened, his back weary. But when night came, he slipped into corners of the mansion where silence reigned. There, by the weakest bulbs, he studied with scraps of borrowed books. His story was carved with loss. He had once sat at the back of a classroom, absorbing every word of his teacher. His parents had dreamed he would become the first in their family to graduate. But life struck cruelly. His father's health failed, bills piled high, and school fees became impossible. To survive, he traded textbooks for a mop, equations for endless chores. Still, the dream never left him. Every number he solved in the shadows felt like rebellion. Every line of history memorized was an act of defiance against the fate that tried to silence him. The millionaire, a man accustomed to power and privilege, felt an unfamiliar discomfort. His fortune was vast, his life of luxury unquestioned. Yet, in front of him stood a boy who possessed something money couldn't buy: unshakable resilience. But not everyone shared his pause. The head butler entered, sneering. "Sir, this one is wasting time. He should be dismissed. Cleaners are not paid to read." The words sliced through the boy's spirit, but he said nothing. His silence was not weakness. It was strength. The room grew heavy with judgment. Some staff passing by whispered, watching, but none spoke up. The injustice hung thick in the air. The millionaire's eyes lingered on the scattered books. He noticed the careful notes in the margins, the underlined passages, the marks of discipline. The boy had not been idling. He had been building himself in the shadows. The butler pressed on, louder now. "Sir, rules are rules. He does not belong here." But then, something shifted. The boy, though silent, lifted his chin. His gaze held steady, not in defiance, but in quiet dignity. It was a look that said, "You may see me as small, but I know my worth." In that silence, the millionaire heard more than words could ever say. He spoke finally, his voice calm but resolute. "Do not mistake silence for weakness. Some battles are fought in quiet, but their victories echo forever." Gasps rippled through the staff. The butler stepped back, shocked. The boy's heart raced, unsure what this meant. Then came the unexpected twist. The millionaire bent down, picked up the fallen book, and placed it back in the boy's hands. "From tonight forward," he said, "you will study under proper light, not in shadows, and you will not pay for a single book again." The staff fell silent. The boy's eyes welled with tears he had fought for years to contain. His silence had protected his dignity, but now kindness had unlocked his future. The millionaire declared, loud enough for all to hear, "True wealth is not measured by what we keep for ourselves, but by what we give to those who refuse to stop fighting for their dreams." Weeks later, the mansion's grand study room became the boy's sanctuary. No longer hidden in corners, he now studied under chandeliers, with shelves of books freely at his reach. The same people who once mocked him now carried quiet respect. And when he finally earned his scholarship to university, the entire household stood in applause. The millionaire, once hardened by success, found himself transformed too. For in lifting another, he discovered the greatest riches he had ever known. Do not mistake silence for weakness. Some battles are fought in quiet, but their victories echo forever. And so, a boy once hidden in darkness walked into the light, not because he begged, but because he never stopped believing. This story reminds us that every person you see carries battles you may never know. Respect, kindness, and opportunity can change everything. Where are you watching from today? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Untold Realities for more powerful stories of silent strength.